Hello, everybody. I wanted to resurrect my song rescue series. Um, Mainly because I just did like 10 songs in 4 days. And by songs, I mean instrumentals. I don't write lyrics with my music. um, but I wrote down a checklist of things that I feel might be helpful if you're just in a writing session and you come back to it the next day and you're like, oh, hey, I need to change a few things around. But if you sit there and twiddle knobs all day, you're not gonna get anything done. Um, so I'm gonna play you a little bit of this. And I'm using headphones. I'm using Audio Technica um, M50s. I believe that's the correct model. But I'm just gonna play this, and we're gonna go through some things and figure it out. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm not going to bore you with the whole song. You came here for audio engineering stuff. Um, but so the first thing I look out for is, are the drums overly crunchy? And I do have orange clip on here, and let me just turn down these output controls. And that's pretty much all we're gonna do there. So basically what I'm looking for with drums is, do they punch? Do they have enough low end? Am I missing any elements, any rhythmic elements in the mix? But everything seems to be coming through nicely. I do have this percussion layer here and this hi-hat layer. The hi-hat layer is sticking out, but we will fix that here in a second. I need to make sure my drum reverb is not clipping. You kind of get a little sneak peek at some of my new music. That's awesome. So these hi-hats are kind of sticking out of the mix, and I think I need to lower the frequency to around 1.2. This drum layer, what's it doing? Looks like just some stomps and claps. And I got a side chain on it. That's cool. Let's send this to the room reverb. So this bass, I believe, yeah, it's already being sent to channel E. Let's make the reverb a little brighter. And the last thing I like to do is send the whole drums send to the reverb. So that sounds a little bit better. So far, you guys, we've done the drums. We made sure they were not overly crunchy. We did the bass. We made sure the bass had a little bit of reverb on it. And when I say reverb, I don't mean a chamber reverb. I mean a room reverb, because you don't want your bass to be so dry it eats up all the headroom. But the next thing on this list, we already did the overly crunchy drums. The drums are a big part in dance music, so I always like to pay a little more attention to the drums than somebody else would. But the third thing on this list, you guys, is the drums have room reverb if needed, and we just did that. So if you were to listen to the drums without room reverb, it kind of gels them together. It makes lots of people think that compression is the answer to gelling drums together. But yeah, that is really why it's important to have your aux sends and returns set up to where you can memorize what goes where, and you can tweak different things as needed. So yeah, this is what it sounds like currently. And the next thing on this list is that nothing is clipping. I usually like to do that during the writing session so I can go ahead and get a decent balance. So we know nothing is clipping. Let's check the master chain. And I forgot to add a plugin to this writing session. I usually put I did a video yesterday on my mastering chain. I like the Mag EQ4 to clean up digital sounds. Okay, so let's check out the intro and make sure all of our effects are in time. I thought I heard something that wasn't in time, but it looks to me like it might be slightly off. You gotta be careful when you're copying stuff over. And I know I preach this all the time, but I don't like mixing in headphones, but it's just easier for me to do the video if I wear headphones because then I'll have to be muting the mic every time the music plays. But I would always recommend doing your final mix on a pair of monitors and then referencing through a good set of headphones. So far we've We've corrected the overly crunchy drums. We've made the bass have its own space. The drums have their own room reverb. Nothing is clipping. We've got correct gain staging already. I just fixed that in the mastering chain. Um, and the last thing is nothing sticks out or is too harsh. So I've listened to the song in the car, and we have already fixed all the issues that I was hearing. Um, so I will go ahead and export this, and I'm gonna be ramping up the tutorial channel again, y'all. I was sick for about 2 months. I don't know if it was COVID. I tested negative for COVID, but for some reason I just couldn't kick this past cold. But if you want to learn from me personally, check out my website. I'll leave my link tree in the description, so you can go check out my music and check out my music on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music, and it's everywhere. Um, but if you'd like to book a consultation, please head to my website, and I will see y'all later. Peace out.